Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. I decided to do some seva, and I try to do this every day, and I try to share something for my inspiration, for your inspiration, and I hope I can do this as often as possible. Yesterday I spoke about the power and the glories of the Nam Bhajan, of chanting of the holy name, and I spoke about the chanting with identification. So today I want to go a little bit more into this process, more into details about this chanting with identification and chanting in a specific way. So as a jiva soul, we are tatashta shakti energy. We have the capacity to immerse ourselves into material life, and we have the capacity to immerse ourselves into the spiritual atmosphere. So right now we are caught in the material realm, but the soul has also the ability and the capacity to immerse oneself, to immerse ourselves into the spiritual realm. So then when we go on chanting, I said yesterday, it is very important that we try to chant with an identification, with a clear, focused goal in our minds, and in a specific frame of mind, in a specific consciousness. So what I was meaning with this was that in the beginning we chant, and we sit down and we chant. In the very beginning of our journey through bhakti, we sit down and we chant. And first of all, we try to in the beginning we try to get rid of anarthas more and more, and we chant because we feel good, we chant because we must chant, we chant because the pain should go away. So we focus solely on the chanting of the holy name. So we focus really on the name chanting, and we only hear solely the name. And Jiva Goswami in his Bhakti Sandarbha, he gives recommended orders of hearing and recommended orders of memorizing, of remembrance. So when we start our journey in bhakti, we chant the holy name, and we solely and exclusively hear the holy name, and we focus on the sound vibration of the holy name. And this is very, very much important that we focus at that in the beginning in our journey in spiritual life. Jiva Goswami makes this recommended order. First, we fix ourselves on the hearing. We hear the holy name. This is the one thing which is in the beginning. And as we go along in our spiritual life, we engage slowly in other processes, and three processes in the beginning nourish each other and are very much important. This is Shravanam, Kirtanam and Smaranam. So when we start the chanting of the holy name, we have no idea. I can speak for myself, and 31 years ago, I came into contact with Krishna consciousness. I had no clue who is this Krishna, who is Krishna, and who is Radha. So in the beginning we were told, chant the holy name, chant 16 rounds every day, listen to the name. This is a beautiful advice, and then slowly the process will unfold. So in the beginning, this is very important that we focus on the holy name of the Lord, and we get information of about the power the holy name has in itself, so the glories of the holy name, so that we have nishtha and faith in the chanting of the holy name. So we are advised to hear about the name, and we hear about Krishna. So this is the beginning stages that we can hear about Radha and Krishna, and we chant, and more we hear, then Jiva Goswami is saying that actually we can also remember the name, then comes the form of the Lord. So we hear about Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, for example. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that when we hear about the pastimes of Shri Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, we get attracted to it. We develop a certain degree, lopa, for hearing this topic. So then we get an imagination of who is this Krishna, what is his form, what is the beauty of the form of Radha and Krishna. So then we can also more and more, as we go on in our bhakti, we can think about, wow, which Krishna is it that I want to meditate about, that I want to have a relationship with. So this hearing process goes hand in hand with the chanting and remembering. This is nourishing each other. None of them goes alone. So the more we hear about Krishna, the more we can hear then about his form. The next step is the qualities of Radha and Krishna. And then comes Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila, and the higher stages will immerse our mind into the Leelas. It's a very, very high stage, but it is not that we cannot hear or meditate about these Leelas. It goes hand in hand. Jiva Goswami even says that actually hearing is recommended in a certain order, but he also at the same time says hearing about each one of those name, form, guna and lila brings you perfection. So the recommended order of this hearing and chanting is that we go through stages. We can see this. I do it every day like that. I start with the japa and I focus exclusively on hearing the holy name, and then as the flow gets on and on, you can meditate about the form and meditate about how wonderful Radha and Krishna is, and then you can, after, when you are in your rounds, in your flow, you can also read like a pastime. I will come to this a little bit later. So as we progress in this journey and we more and more hear about about Radha and Krishna, and we develop Kri, Lopa to really immerse ourselves, we approach Shri Gurudev. And when we have figured out by the hearing process, what is the rasa I want to attain, what is the role I want to play in the eternal Leela, we approach Shri Gurudev and we ask for Diksha initiation. So the Diksha initiation helps us immensely in fixing our spiritual identification. In the beginning, when we chant and when we step through this process of bhakti, we become more and more attracted to certain pastimes, and more we figure out which role I also want to play. So we approach our Gurudev and we approach a spiritual master, and he will teach us and he will give us the Diksha mantras, and the Diksha mantras really cement our identification in a specific ras. We don't go to any guru, but we have this desire in our heart. I want to be in Manjari Bhav, I want to be in Sakya ras, I want to be in Vatsalya ras. Whatever the ras is, a jiva favors by hearing and by becoming familiar with, you approach Sri Guru and he will give you the Diksha mantras of his line, of his rasa, of his mood, of his bhav, infused with the power of the whole parampara. And these Diksha mantras, they really cement and help you to have a firm identification, because the Krishna mantra, Kling Krishna Govindaya, and the Kam Gayatri, Gopal mantra and Kam Gayatri are especially meant to establish your wonderful relationship with the Lord and with Srimati Radharani. So within these two mantras, actually it is said that every relationship, everything is there, whole Vrindavan, whole rasas are there. So as sadhakas, in my line, we are Manjari Bhav sadhakas. We focus solely on this Krishna who is the beloved of Radhika, and we chant these Diksha mantras with this identification that we are in connection with Krishna through Radhika. We are Manjaris and we chant. These two mantras are especially important. There are more mantras depending on your line of gurus or parivar. So these two mantras are very, very important to establish our identification, to establish our self, to that we can attain this sita deha, this body which we can take, we can play in this, we can play our role in the eternal Leela of Krishna. It is not an imagination, it is the desire in our heart. We have this capacity to attain such a spiritual body, and we can start to meditate when we feel comfortable and we feel safe, and we have nishta in this process, in the chosen, this rasa we have heard about. We want to attain that bhav, this mood, these feelings, And the more we hear about it, and the more we chant about it, and the more we remember about it, furthermore, this specific identification will come to you. It will be there, and you can feel that you want to be there. You can imagine how you are in that lila, and that means this chanting with identification. I also mean the Diksha mantras for sure. Both go hand in hand. You start in the morning time, you start with the Diksha mantras, and they greatly help you establishing your identification. Who are you, who you want to be, and the more we progress in our spiritual life, we can go deeper and deeper, and at one point, at least in our parivar, we can approach Shri Gurudev and we can ask him, what is my Siddha Deha? What is my actual role? What is my what is my form? What can you please help me to see and help me to identify myself? And if Gurudev sees your heart, he always sees your heart, and if he feels you are qualified to receive that information, he will give it to you. So when you receive that information, it makes you really strong, and it makes you really feel safe, and it makes you feel at home, because then many say, okay, Tarun, you're a teacher, you go here and there, you don't seem very qualified, which I am not, but what are you doing with the information of your Siddha Deha, of your Siddha Swarup? So I say, for me personally, it gives so much strength, and it gives me so much hope, and also as a kind of belonging to something. In the Western world, they do this systemic process where they put your ancestors behind each other to break free from a certain pattern, and you feel that strength. For example, when a lady is doing that, the mother, the grandmother, that can be this line you can feel. So the same is with you. You can also feel that immense power when you know your parivar and you know their identities in the lila. It gives you a kind of belonging. It gives you a kind of strength and power to always think about it. I belong there. This is my home. And this is what I mean with identification. At one point in spiritual life, this desire, this really deep desire comes that you want to belong to a certain family, that you belong to a certain Guru Manjari in our Manjari Bas parivar. So that identification crystallizes. It's more and more the more you practice this bhajan, this Raganuga bhajan, and this vital information. I can only say it works the same when you get your name of your spiritual body. This name is not normal. It's not a normal name. The spiritual bodies are made of Swarupa Shakti, and when we meditate on our given name of the Siddha Deha, this is the same when you meditate on a spiritual body of Krishna. It is the same energy, and the same thing will happen. It will unfold. The Naam will bring you to Rupa, Rupa to Guna, Guna to Leelas. It's the same. So it is not waste of time. It's not a imagination. You focus on your Siddha Deha. All information you receive on the Siddha Deha is very important, and helps us to identify when we do bhakti, when we offer the food, when we hear, when we sing. This is always when you close your eyes, you imagine yourself who you are in that process. This is helping at least me very much, that I can identify myself and to know to whom I belong. And it gives very strength. It is in the beginning stages, but the more we process, I have great hope that this identification, this Deha, this Parshada Deha, Jiva Goswami is saying. He says the Atma Buddha Shuddhi means that one meditates on one's desired Parshada Deha, which is fit for serving the Lord. So he says this is actually our identification with everything we can, everything we do in bhakti, all 9 processes you can do with this identification. It helps very much, and it really gives strength. And this is what is necessary now in this really turbulent time, that you feel a sense of belonging, not only to the material world. We all have to play a part in that role as much as we can. Have to do that. It's our duty. So, but also we have this role in our spiritual life, in our spiritual world. we all have our role to play there, and the mercy of Guru is so wonderful and so beautiful that he gave us a ticket, I want to say, like an ambassador or the spiritual world. He gave us that ticket, and he said to you, like, this is your ticket, this is your information, now please try to break through that material concept and really identify yourself with what I have given you, and try to do everything in bhakti and also in the normal life with this consciousness actually that you are not this German big huge body, but you are a very wonderful soul, Manjari of Radhika, and you have certain qualities. Try to also apply these qualities in the material life. It's not always easy, but it helps to do that. And the chanting, when you have this identification, it is much easier to immerse yourself in the chanting, towards the spiritual world. The longer you can do this every day, the more you will see that it will have effect on your daily life. And the less you do, the more material life will have effect on you. So this is what really I was saying yesterday, this chanting with identification. It is not that we jump in the first 3 months of our spiritual life, we jump into Radha Rasa Sudhanidhi and we meditate on the highest pastimes. This is not what I was talking about. I mean, it's not like a class for beginners. We are friends now and we are connecting to each other. So we are at a certain age now that we can see that this greed, this lobha now must be made even stronger, that we can go more deep into the bhajan process, especially nama bhajan and diksha mantras chanting and reading and hearing. So we can focus that, and it will help very, very much in our daily life. I for me, I can speak like that. It helps me so much to have this alternative life in the morning time and during the day, and it gives immense strength to have this. Also, Jiva Goswami is saying that at one point, when he speaks about the optimization of hearing, he says that actually the optimum is hearing. One should hear about the deity of one's choice from the lips of great devotees who has the same devotional mood. So he says the hearing and the meditating should be done in the association of those who have the same mood, Sajati, and who are friendly, snigdha, and loving, and have the same conception of the deity, Ishtadev, Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan in Manjari Bhav, or when you are in Vatsalya Bhav, then you seek out that association. And this helps incredibly, even digitally. Like I am in contact with my good friend Advaita from Holland. I am in contact with so many of my godbrothers digitally, and we help each other and we exchange things to each other. This helps in this identification process. We are not really in this world. We play our part in this world, but actually we have to cultivate our inner world also. Then, because when we have to leave this world, then it should be filled with these images, with this powerful visions of the spiritual world. Because at the time of death, it is very important what we think and what we imagine. And when we think, oh my God, the virus will catch me, okay, but maybe we cannot escape that, but we can try our best every day to go into bhajan and chant with this identification. I'm speaking today about the Siddhadeya because sometimes everybody thinks, oh, this is a taboo. No, it's not. The time is right now to understand that actually that is the goal. Svarupa Siddhi is the goal. How you achieve it, it doesn't matter. If the holy name gives it to you, if Guru gives it to you, if Krishna gives it to you, if you sit down, fake it until you make it, And until this information comes to you, whatever source it is, do it. And we should really be eager and excited to explore this world, Sometimes people say to me, yeah, Tarun, no, we cannot meditate about the pastimes. It's interesting what actually A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada says. I find this so wonderful. He says, in a letter to Sevananda, regarding your first question, is it offensive to think of Krishna's pastimes while chanting? I think you should know that it is not offensive, but rather it is required. One must try for the point when one simply hears Krishna and immediately all of Krishna, his pastimes, his form, his qualities, are in his thoughts. So this letter is from 68. Now we have 40 years, 50 years more. So Prabhupada, Bhaktivedanta Swami, in the beginning, he said, no, it's not offensive. You can do that. He started printing Krishna book in the first, because to implement in our mind actually what is going on there. And it's not limited only to Krishna book. It is also there in Govinda Lilamrita. It is there in Krishna Bhavanamrita. It is there in the prayers of the Goswami. We have so much material. This wonderful Bhavana Sangraha from Siddha Krishnadas Babaji, wonderfully compiled. Just put the book up and read, and close your eyes and think about that and chant the Mahamantra to it. It's not a big deal. It's not forbidden. It's actually required, because practice makes perfect. No? So Narottam Das Thakur is saying, what you do in sadhaka life, you will do in spiritual life. When you reach perfection. Now it is the unripe fruit. Now the mango is freaking green, but then you will see it is wonderfully ripe. So this is what we have to do. Especially when everything is falling down and falling out and is in turmoil, we have the chance to sit on your behind and really try to dive deep in this identification process. And it feels like you are not really that much touched, like a lotus is not so much touched with the water. We feel we are not so much touched with all this negativity and all these fearful things which are going on outside. We have hours now to really focus and go deep into bhajan. I'm preaching to myself, let me tell you that, because I am also living around crazy times, you know. But this is the essence of spiritual life, is that we follow this process. If we receive the Diksha Mandals, this is the first thing we do in the morning, fix our identification, and then with that beautiful identification, chanting the Diksha Mandals, knowing my relationship, knowing who is that Krishna, who is that Radha, what is, even if you can have your seva told you by your Gurudev, or your name, or your form, even if not, just imagine what you can do, or for flowers, or for water, or for anything. Just think about that, fake it until you make it, and then all things will come more and more. I have great hope and great nishta that it will happen. The acharyas, they promised us it will happen. It's just a matter of our efforts, mercy and time. Mercy number 1, time and efforts number 2. So, and if we have the mercy of Gurudev, we can do everything. We can do everything. This is promised in the what is it called, in Samsara Dava Nanalita Loka. It is said that Yasya Prasado, Bhagavat Prasado, Yasya Prasado, Nagati Kutopi. No goal is not achievable. Gurudev gives you the mercy and everything can be attained. And in the morning, this is the most perfect time to leave all behind, all this mobile, internet, blah, blah, blah. Leave it behind, take 2-3 hours, whatever you can, and go deep into bhajan and try to focus on who you want to be in that beautiful world inside, which will reveal itself. You will feel attraction as much as the adhika allows. I have not much attraction, but I try to focus on who I want to be and what is my relationship to my guru and what is my relationship to Radha and Krishna. And I want to finish with a wonderful example how we can do this, and how just one little drop of nectar can infuse the heart with beautiful feelings and emotions. So it is said that the Mahajans, they can go deep into meditation about only one little scene of Radha and Krishna's day. So I chose one very wonderful little snippet where you can close your eyes and you can chant 16 rounds only on this part. Not me, but I heard that very exalted devotees, they can lose themselves for hours and then come back and say, oh my God, I didn't finish anything. So this is from Govinda Lilamrita. It is called Radha Krishna's Mutual Darshan. It is chapter 5, 40 to 43. It's beautiful. Krishna is leaving Vrindavan with the cowherders and saying goodbye. So this happens now. Then Krishna's lurking eyes give assurance to Srimati Radhika. O Sumukhi, just be patient. Don't grieve. We shall soon be together. Somehow, please slip away and come to the banks of your Kunda, Radhakund. And Radhika humbly concedes with a tender, loving glance. Then, as the arrows of Krishna's glances sail through the air and pierce Radhika's heart, Radhika's glances pierce the heart of Krishna too. Here, a very tender, loving moment of ecstasy is relished. As the rushing course of prema is insurmountable, who can understand these fascinating matters? Thus, Krishna captures the fish of Radha's mind in the net of his all-alluring bodily effulgence. This is poetry par excellence. Thus, Krishna captures the fish of Radha's mind in the net of his bodily effulgence. Similarly, Krishna's swan-like mind becomes easily bound within the sturdy cage of Radhika's charming sidelong glances. So, in this moment, there's so much Yugal Madhuri, sweetness of the two, Radha and Krishna. So, there's such a deep hankering of both to see each other and to exchange his glances. And when we meditate upon this scenery, Radhika is standing atop of a house and Krishna is walking past and they see each other, we can really dive deep into the emotions which is in this little snippet of a pastime. And we when I can speak for myself, we are identified as Mancharis, so we are with Radhika. We are there, we experience this bhav of saying goodbye to Krishna, which is smashing the heart of Radhika. So we are there next to her and we feel that and we support her and we are there assisting her. So you see, you can dive so deep into this lila by your mind, even if you don't feel you're qualified. You could have told you and you can do it. You can really think about this. So this meditation is so strong that you can lose yourself in that. So much emotions are there. The more we purify our heart by japa and by the Diksha mantras and by practice, the more we can filter out and extract from this verse, such a verse like this alone. The great souls, the great Mahajans, they can sit hours and meditate about this scene, what is going on telepathically between Radha and Krishna. What are the emotions? What is everyone thinking? What is he thinking? And it is such a nectarian thing to do. Try it when you come to 15th, 16th round or 12th round or whatever. It's not mechanical. It comes into your heart, this desire to hear and to meditate about these things. And you sit down and you realize, wow, there's a whole other world going on within these books, within these wonderful verses. And hearing and reading these verses purifies the heart even more. And this is like a staircase. And the more you can extract the rasa, everything is rasa. We want to have rasa. We want to be happy. Rasa makes you happy. And we have to qualify ourselves with our efforts and with the mercy of Gurudev to really be able to identify ourselves with our spiritual form, to have that entrance into this beautiful realm which is there, which is tangible by the mercy of Gurudev. So this is what I wanted to share today, that we can sit down and we can practice in the morning time this wonderful bhajan, nam bhajan, diksha mantras, puja, offering the food during the day, with this consciousness that actually I belong to the divine couple in a certain way, because I am the dasi of my guru. He is a guru mantrari. He is always with me, and whatever I do under his supervision, and I feel safe, even if it's just in my head. Nothing to lose, everything to win. This is the big nishta we have to have. So this is the identification I wanted to share. This immersion, whenever we have the chance to do a spiritual activity, we have to do it in such a way that we identify ourselves with who we want to be. So I think I touched the points I wanted to touch. So Radhe, thank you so much. Mostly I was preaching to my mind in this trouble sometimes. So I wish you all the best. Jai Radhe.